Right.
What time's your race?
I'm just taking a video about me like you wanted. Say hello.
Hey. Hello. Thank you for coming to Nobby's party.
Do they have many films here? Do they have the film? Do they have films here?
Well, I looked at the watch this morning, I thought, well, that's nice, when I get.
Red logo, John.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, with us on, yeah.
Oh,
Well, I didn't say anything with John.
oh, no, I haven't. John, Barry. I had to have.
How are you, Barry?
Here's the birthday boy. Say something into the camera, Nobby.
So I didn't know what numbers I take, but I just say the two numbers. Well, she puts me down as 8, and I don't know why she puts me as 8. Probably you're a size 8.
Gonna break down at the end of the day, don't they?
A few whites, see? Barbie's whites.
Hello, ladies. Could you just tell us your name, please? What's your name? Shirley. Shirley, and what's your name?
She's very deep.
What are you called?
Ursula.
Ursula. Good afternoon, Ursula.
I did write my name on there. Yes.
Thank you.
Down in Mum's lounge, they've got the Prince Philip.
Hello. Oh yes. What's your name? Myra. Right. Yes. Excuse me, ladies. I'm just taking all the guests.
Hi there.
Yes. What's your name?
Jan.
Jan. How we do?
Thank you.
Say hello to the camera.
You know these two?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the lady that came to our farm.
That's right.
Hello.
The sister sent to England.
Because obviously all his friends are with
Hello. I'm Cecil B. DeMille. Hello, guys. Who are you two?
Bruce. Bruce.
How do you do? You've been immortalised on film
That'll be really
Thanks everybody except me.
Who's this beauty I've just come across?
Glasses on. Thank you.
I'm famous for my...
Be careful what you tell them.
I'm Malcolm, a friend of Nobby and Barbie. We've been friends for about 8 years. And we feel to be very good friends of them. And a lot of you want to know a lot about Nobby, his history. And because he doesn't tell you a right lot. And over the years, I've talked to him and got little bits out of him, and he's had a fantastically interesting life. Absolutely. I'll start with, he was an East End boy, and when the East End was the East End of London, as we imagined it, in its worst days of crime and carry on, craze, etc., that's when he was brought up.
Don't talk about my mates like that.
That is the era when he was brought up. And what happened was, he had a friend whose father had a tugboat. Not a normal little tugboat, but a recovery tugboat with a crew of 10 that went out and recovered vessels that had been damaged, etc. So in 1945, Nobby, at 14 years old, his mate asked him, "You want to come to sea with me, with my dad?" And he said, "I'll have to go home and ask my mum." And what did your mum say?
There's your bag. One other week, whenever I went out and came home, I could hear my dad say to my mum, or my mum say to my dad, "Here comes that little leader again." I think she said I was a leader. A little leader, so here comes that little leader again.
So off he went to sea. Now this is 14-year-old boy who goes to sea on a tugboat. Now what they were doing was recovering vessels that had been damaged in the Second World War. 1945, there were ships all over the world that had been badly damaged and they needed recovering and taking back for scrap or whatever. So Nobby at that age went all over the world. South America, could you tell us some of the places you went to?
South America, Gibraltar, Florida, Denmark, Germany, and when we went into Hamburg, oh, it was flat, there was nothing, it was awful. I was so sorry for them.
Yeah, so that was 1945. So most people here might have been small, well a few here would be very small, I was born a year later, some will be little or whatever, but nobody saw the end of the war there as it was and the damage that had been done. But that was the start really of his career in the Navy, because he was in the Navy then into his 30s, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he started on the tugboats and they went over the world recovering vessels, South America all over, and then he worked on oil tankers, haven't you? Yeah, for BP. So he worked on oil tankers, again we're talking the 40s, early 50s, and then after that he went to work with P&O. He worked for P&O and he worked his way up on P&O ships, and there weren't the cruise ship, eventually on cruise ships. I don't think they were just like the cruise ships now, but certainly he's got a picture up at home of a cruise ship that he worked on, and you did some journeys to Australia, didn't you?
Yeah,
Bringing immigrants over to Australia and New Zealand. Again, we're talking, what year would that be? 50s, no?
50s.
In the 50s?
50s to 62.
Yeah. So that were Nobby's sort of early life as a young man. And then, when he came out, I'm not sure exactly, but he met Barbie.
Yeah,
And
that was a funny incident.
yeah, this is a wonderful tale. Tell it, Nobby.
You see, I used to go to the bingo with my mum and dad, but I had to car like a driver and wouldn't say stay with the West bingo. Well, my brother, it was his birthday and he was holding a party, and unbeknown I didn't know who was going there. Barbie was the other person. And Valerie said to me, "Now, you're coming to my party, but you know, Keith's party, birthday party." I said, "Oh, I don't know anything about it." "Oh, she's coming along." I suppose it's, I'll see about going to the bingo with Mum and Dad. Bloody hell, I wish I'd gone to bingo now. Yeah, I see.
But of course, the story was that he arranged to meet Barbie, and he went to the meeting place to meet her, and how late was she?
How old?
How long did you wait for her?
An hour.
An hour and a half. He waited for her. You were desperate, were you? And you've never looked back, and you've never looked back.
Never looked back, that's true.
So in a way, meeting Barbie then started his theatrical work. I mean, you'd done some on cruise ship, had you?
I did, yeah, Barbie and I did a cruise
Yeah.
ships.
But so that's when they started doing the theatrical things. And of course, Barbie had been doing theatrical stuff since she was a little girl, virtually. She'd been in pantomime. Don't know whether any of you remember, but there was a famous English comedian called Mr. Pastry, and he used to be on the television. And Barbie worked with him in pantomime.
She was leading.
Yeah, she always played the leading boy in pantomime. From being, what, 19, Barbie? Yeah, so Barbie's a long time in show business doing different things. Then Nobby sort of got introduced to that, and Nobby, and both Barbie and Nobby, I've met lots of famous people who they probably wouldn't even tell you about. And I mean a lot of people. I mean, Nobby was on the West End stage, and Joan Collins was in the cast. Anthony Newley. And these are the people that they've worked with. Won't have told you. I've had to draw it out over the time when I've talked about it. They never boast about things like that. Nobby has been in adverts. We have to trawl through YouTube sometimes. And Barbie's been on YouTube. Again, Barbie's worked with lots of people. When they worked with David, knew David Jason quite well, particularly his brother, who was a friend of theirs. Arthur White, who that's David Jason's. So again, they were mixing in those sort of people in the West End of London. So that's what you call a pretty interesting life. Makes my life pretty boring, really, in comparison. Leaving school, getting a job at textiles, and then get my own little business and things. But that's Nobby, and it's been a pleasure to know you, Nobby. And I'd like us to sing Happy Birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nobby. Happy birthday to you.
Now I'll take the hearing aid out.
Been here in the village 3.5 years, but working in collaboration. And Nobby says, "Look, I can't put all those spots on the lines for you. Can you do that for me?" So we worked out something together for a song about Barbie and Nobby. And then we've collaborated, we've sung together, we've planned to sing together, and we're going to do Leaning on a Lamppost on Anzac afternoon. But I just in the 6 months that I've got to know them, this is what I've felt. Two stars shine brightly on our stage. It doesn't matter how you gauge their performances, whether in a bygone age or on a recent modern stage. Their many acts, crowds did applaud, and no one could say that they were ever bored. By old and young they were adored, as to the heights they boldly soared. On West End boards they were right at home, and further afield they oft did roam. Their many exploits would fill a tome, whether on land or the briny foam. Yes, our pearly king and queen are two of the finest seen. From top to bottom and in between, Nobby and Barbie have always been two of the best to those who know. They'll never let anything stop the flow, and now our thanks we want to show, and on them both our best love bestow.
Thank you.
If you know where it is
Now,
now, that's good.
I can remember where I put it. Who are you?
George.
I know, dear Lord, I'm 90, so much I haven't done. Do you think, dear Lord, you let me live until I'm 91? There are so many things, dear Lord, that I would like to do. So would you let me stay here, Lord, until I'm 92? Many places I want to go, and so much I want to see. I'm sure you'll let me stay here, Lord, until I'm 93. The world is changing very fast, and much there is in store. If you don't mind, dear Lord, let me live to 94. If my health is quite stable and I am still alive, oh, let me stay here, dear Lord, until I am 95. We have so many problems, till them I hope they'll fix, and see what happens to this world when they get to 96. Soon happen, twinkling, peaceful in heaven. I know, dear Lord, you'll let me stay till I'm 97. I'm stable and very often late, but changes and I've had a wonderful time. So I know I would be happy, Lord, to leave at 99. But now I've made it this far, you know what I will mean. I'd like to last just one more year. See, congratulations from our dear Queen. It's horse racing. I love horse racing. I'm not an impulsive gambler. I like maybe $5–10 a day, but not every day.
Oh, and I have to squeeze my bowls.
It's better bowls, isn't it? So, where was I before I was rudely interrupted? My favourite sport is horse racing, and of course the All Blacks rugby. I love that. I think that's fantastic. Going back to digressing a bit there, one of my songs I wrote now is New Zealand's My Home, and I've now added all pictures to it, images, and it involves all the All Blacks and the haka and all that. One day when I'll bring it down, we'll show it on here. Anyway, enough of that rubbish. Horse racing, yes, horse racing.
Cut the cake, and if everyone brings their plate up, they can have a piece.
You mean we've got to give it away?
Yeah.
But I wanted the horse's head.
Oh, we can eat that.
Oh, this mine's been over the line.
End of the
We'll stick with an horse's head handle. Anyway, on the cake, Barbie's had made. Happy birthday, Nobby, and it's got a beautiful head of a horse, a racehorse. I thought, oh, you're beginning to get my way of thinking.
Well, it was a question of my face on there with the horse.
Oh, the horse is good, thank you. Okay, let me get the knife. We're going to cut this together, Barbie, you and me.
Oh, that was nice.
Okay, Louis, give us your hand. All right,
Yes.
stab it down.
That's it?
That's it. Okay,
So, can you cut it in small pieces? Or would you like someone with a feminine hand?
I'd like somebody up here with a feminine hand, like Catherine or something. Catherine, would you be willing? Where's Catherine? She ain't gone home, has she?
No.
She's right beside you. Other side.
How many arms do you think I've got?
What are you doing over there? Anyway, come along, Catherine, and help me cut the cake.
Okay, I'll have to stop filming then.
Cut it in,
Oh, she's filming.
yeah,
Okay.
Robert's done it as well.